If you're like me, you get a lot of satisfaction from solving problems. As a wastewater collection system operator, you can take pride in being a pipe detective. Of course, Gonzo's with us again. He's the perfect example of how not to do the job. Every once in a while, you'll see a section number appear on the screen like this. The number refers to the section in these manuals where you'll find more information. The chapter number and section, in this case, is Chapter 6, Volume 1. See how that works? The topic today is problem solving in pipeline cleaning and maintenance methods.
All right, guys, one more time. I got it this time. Okay. And this section of the tape's on problem solving. I think I got this one. Dang. Okay, one more time, guys. One more time. I'm watching this time.
Of course, our job is to prevent stoppages, to eliminate wastewater from backing up into homes, businesses, and running down the street.
Potential problems are often found during routine cleaning and maintenance. These obstructions may require removal, repair, or immediate replacement to correct the problem.
Stoppages can be cleared or prevented and sewer lines cleaned by either hydraulic or mechanical means.
Hydraulic cleaning methods consist of cleaning a sewer with high-pressure, high-velocity water.
Now remember, when cleaning the line, there's two ways to go. You can go high pressure, high velocity, or mechanical. Remember, it's up and down, not side to side.
Let's do an overview of the basic types of equipment for removing stoppages and cleaning sewers.
They're power rodding machines, and then some of them are mounted on trucks and some are mounted on trailers. And then of course there are hand rods, and they're not mounted on any trucks.
Rodders are effective tools to cut roots, to scrape and dislodge grease, and to remove certain types of material found in sewers.
We all need to remember that a rodder is ineffective for removing grit and sand, but may loosen the material for a flusher machine to clean out later.
Rods have a tendency to coil and bend when used in large diameter sewers.
When hand rodding a sewer with a high head pressure behind obstruction, you have to be careful when the obstruction breaks loose because it can force the hand rods out of a manhole.
Here we have some of the different sizes of balls that we use in our balling operation. I'm holding the 6-inch, John's holding the 8 and 10 respectively. We don't use anything over a 10-inch by hand balling. Here are some of the hoses that we use for inducing the water to ball the lines. We use the water to create the hydraulic pressure for around the ball to push the material down the line.
The advantage to this equipment is the combination of high-velocity water and the water-driven spinning ball. This action dislodges debris from pipe walls and the water moves it downstream.
This method is very good for removing grit, sand, rocks, and grease.
The sewer ball or tire is dangerous to use in locations with basement fixtures and steep-grade hill areas because of the possibility of flooding dwellings.
On offsets or bad taps, sometimes we have a problem. The ball will get hung up. We put a little tension on the cable. It elongates the ball, allows the action of the ball to still clean, and passes through the obstruction.
In sewers where the ball has a tendency to get stuck, a bag full of ice can be used. If the bag gets stuck, wait for the ice to melt enough for the bag to continue downstream.
I can't go back to work until the ice melts.
The high-velocity cleaner is a truck-mounted machine that includes manhole hose guide, debris traps, and dump pickup or debris trailer or Vactor attachment.
The high-velocity cleaner is very effective at cleaning flat, slow-moving sewer lines. It's also effective in removing grease, sand, and debris from smaller diameter sewers.
It's also effective in breaking up solids in manholes and washing structures, but efficiency decreases as the size of the pipe increases.
This method, when used by inexperienced operators, may cause backup into residential homes.
Another disadvantage is the extra time that may be needed to remove grease and roots from some locations. The equipment associated with the Power Bucket machine is the Power Bucket truck loader, dump truck, and manhole jacks.
You know, you don't need all this fancy equipment. The way I learned back in the old days, you go down there like a man, clear things out. Well, cut.
The bucket machine is a good method of cleaning large amounts of sand and debris from large diameter sewers, but also leaves a lot of material behind which should be cleaned at a later date by hydraulic method.
The downside is that it can damage sewers, and the setup time is consuming.
Now this next part's where we get technical. On this cleaning operation, we're going to use the kite and bag. Now you got to kind of run down there with the kite because it takes a good wind to get them up.
The balling procedure is basically the same procedure we use with the parachutes and with the kites. Here we have a 27-inch parachute, an 18-inch kite, and a 36-inch parachute. This equipment is used, it can be used effectively to remove grease, roots, and solids from the main lines.
The kite or bag works in tandem with a water tank truck, dump pickup truck, and power drum winch machine. This is not a good method in areas where there are basement fixtures and steep grades.
When balling, parachuting, or kiting, remember when you release your head of water to notify the operators of the downstream pump station and the downstream wastewater treatment plant.
With that overview, we're ready for an in-depth look at hydraulic cleaning methods. Let's start with the ball.
Balling is one method of removing debris from sewers. The tool is literally a ball of special design.
We use 6, 8, 10, and 12-inch for the smaller lines. We can go up to 48 without doing any special ordering. If anything larger than that has to be special ordered.
Remember, when balling the line, technique is everything.
Balling is the method most commonly used in many preventative maintenance programs. Balling is very effective in reducing the development of stoppages. An effective balling program can reduce the production of hydrogen sulfide in collection systems, which reduces damage from hydrogen sulfide-caused corrosion and the release of odors smelling like rotten eggs.
Balling operation is to clear the debris from the line, keep the 2 feet per second flow in the line, and prevent buildup in the lines on the way to the treatment plant. And for balling 6 and 8-inch lines, usually a 2-man crew is acceptable. For anything over that, 10, 12, 15s, and 18s, we are required to have a 3-man crew.
Basic tools include water truck, holding 1,000 or 2,000 gallons with hoses and air gap for hydrant use, tag line and a suitable reel to store it on, or power winch and cable. The reel should hold at least 1,000 feet. Manhole jack or roller, plugs, balls, equipment truck, debris and grit trailer, ladder. Manhole bars or lifters can cause back injuries if not used properly. Buckets, rope or cable and manhole shovel, hip boots and gloves, two-way radios, collection system map, waterless hand cleaner and hand towels, safety equipment.
As you can see, we use fire hydrants for cleaning our lines. Some communities use water tanks. If fire hydrants are used, these equipment items are needed.
5 to 8 50-foot lengths of 2.5-inch fire hoses, a hydrant wrench and water meter, a control valve for regulating flow at the manhole, traffic ramps or hose boards to protect the hose, and an air gap device. The purpose of the air gap is to provide adequate space at the end of the hose above the manhole in order to protect the water supply from accidental contamination.
Air gap device, schmear gap device. I've always had great luck with one of these. No problem.
These grooves, the way they're angled, gives the ball the spinning action and allows it to clean.
Ooh, groovy. Na 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 na, feeling groovy. Na na na, everyone, feeling groovy.
Larger balls have heavier treads promoting scouring action. These balls are resistant to punctures and are inflatable by means of a valve core.
The molded eyelets on either end of the ball, you can notice the clevis that holds the swivel on allows the ball to spin and go through the line where the cable doesn't get tangled.
The reel, although used primarily to hold the rope or cable, is also used to apply a brake or drag to control the travel of the ball down the sewer. Plugs, either mechanical or inflatable, are needed to control water coming into the working manhole from upstream. If there is insufficient flow in a sewer for balling, this method of plugging off the upstream water provides a method of getting an adequate supply of water to begin the balling procedure.
When the material is removed from the lines, we always put it in our truck or trailer. Never leave it at the job site.
Safety is always first. So routing the traffic safely around the job site is one of your first tasks. So now let's take a look at the setup for cleaning sewers using the ball.
Sean's putting the ball on the cable now, and we'll drop it down. Now John's using the pole with the extension, the 5-foot extension on it, to put the ball in just inside the line.
Insert the ball into the sewer just far enough to determine if it is inflated properly.
It's very rare to have to add air to a ball, but it's also very important to have the right size ball for the line. If you do need to inflate the ball, please be sure you don't pump it up too much. If you do, it won't go by any obstructions. Too much is too much, and too little is too little.
Most sewer balls have two metal eye lugs on opposite sides. If one of these breaks, use the other one, but do not attach a line on both ends. The reason is that it will drastically reduce the swirling action of the ball and reduce the cleaning action.
The manhole guide jack or cable roller, the reason we use them is to keep the cable in the middle of the line, keep any abrasions off the cable, and keep from cutting a groove into the pipe. We're going to head down to the downstream manhole now to take any material out of the line. And once we've done that, we'll go ahead and push the ball through so that we can clean the next line.
Sean, I seem to be pushing heavy thread in this line.
10-4, let me know when I can drop the basket in.
Check.
Okay, Sean, I'm in 150 wraps. You can go ahead and drop the basket now.
Now we've just received word from John that the ball's getting close, and Sean's in the process of dropping the basket down into the line to catch the material. This is where a lot of times it takes two people to set up the basket. That's why Bruce is helping with the pole on the back end. The ball should be just about here, and as soon as it gets here, you'll see it up against the front of the basket, and it's the bright orange. That indicates the ball is here. Now we'll have him pull it back somewhat to clear out the mouth of the basket a little bit.
Go ahead and pull back a wrap.
Now we'll go ahead and pull the basket out and clear the shelf of any material and clear the channel.
Go ahead and bring the ball in, John.
Check, coming at you.
Bruce is pushing the ball through into the next line. That's the advantage of having 1,500 foot of cable on this balling reel, we can go that far with only minimal setups. Certain precautions have to be taken, or at least considered.
Using water pressure in the cleaning of gravity flow sewers always requires care and judgment with respect to basement fixtures and low elevation homes.
Be aware of low-lying houses, fixtures, businesses in the area. Balling operation may not be appropriate. You may want to use high-velocity cleaning.
Oh, okay. We had a slight stoppage where the ball stopped going down the line, and he had to bounce it a few times, and finally got it through the stoppage.
In the balling operation, sometimes we run into stoppages. Sometimes we'll use the high-velocity cleaner to clear it. If we can, the ball we'll try and use to clear it. If not, we'll use the rotor with this 6-inch saw cutter.
If a sewer ball becomes stuck, try to work it loose without breaking the cable. A high-velocity cleaner inserted in the downstream manhole may be able to go up the line and knock the ball loose. Another approach is to use a power router and try to puncture the ball.
Everything that we've done today, we put on this computer, and it'll be there for the next person that comes out to do any work. All the updated information will be updated today when we get into the yard.
Operators should also note the kind and amounts of materials removed, wastewater flow, and amount of auxiliary water used. If particular problems were encountered, these too should be noted, especially the exact location of obstructions.
Sean's emptying the debris to checking for broken pipe. If there is any, there'll be a TV inspection and a possible repair job.
Computers are being used in many aspects of collection system operation, including maintenance and record keeping.
Computer software packages are available for scheduling preventive maintenance activities, issuing work orders for repairs, keeping track of where work is done, who did the work, when, and the labor and materials required.
With the proper software, any information stored in the computer can be recalled for future use.
Computers are also used to keep spare parts inventories and to order spare parts when the supply runs low and before they are needed for scheduled maintenance and repairs.
Remember, when filling out records, make them as complete as possible. This history will be important for you or the next person to do the job.
Kites, bags, and polypigs describe equipment commonly used to clean larger diameter sewers. Kites, by the way, are also called parachutes.
Now we're going to talk about the use of a parachute. I made this one myself. It's my favorite. Geronimo!
To clean a large diameter sewer, you can use a kite or bag slightly smaller in diameter than the sewer, instead of using a sewer ball.
With a small head on the sewer, the velocity of water flowing around the outside of the bag or through the outlet of the kite will create a cleansing velocity which is similar to the velocity around a sewer ball.
The procedures and precautions that we use for kiting, parachuting, and bagging are basically the same procedures and precautions that we use for balling.
Polypigs are used in force mains similar to balling. The difference is the fact that a cable is not attached to the polypig.
Without a cable, how do we keep track of a polypig?
I listen for the oink and the smell of bacon.
The real answer is that the polypig is equipped with a radio transmitter that we can track through the sewer line and determine where it is at all times.
The use of water pressure to clean sewers dates back to the early 1900s, but today the method is dramatically improved thanks to high-velocity cleaning machines.
The fundamental idea of using water to clean sewer lines has been around for some time. We've taken that idea and improved upon it using the high-velocity cleaner. This is cheaper and more efficient and does a better job. The nozzles have been improved where we have nozzles to remove material. We also have nozzles that spin a chain and remove roots. Basically, we've just taken the old concept of water to flush the lines and improved upon it with a high-velocity cleaner.
High-velocity cleaning machines are used to open stoppages, remove grease, clean lines of debris, and wash manholes and wet wells.
Your machine may vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, but the basic idea and operation is the same.
These machines consist of a water supply tank, usually with a capacity of 1,000 gallons or more, a high-pressure water pump, and an auxiliary engine for its operation.
This machine operates at 2,500 psi, 60 gallons per minute. That's the minimum flow rate for sewer lines up to 15 inches.
The unit will have a powered drum reel capable of holding at least 500 feet of hose, usually 1-inch ID. To the end of this hose, a nozzle will be attached, which will create water velocities that do the cleaning.
Let's look at some of the equipment. This is the standard nozzle with rear jets and one forward jet, chain flail for removing roots, high revolution cleaner that spins, debris bucket for removing material, hose reel, hose guide with the counter, and the tiger tail to protect the hose as it enters and exits the sewer line. For purposes of our discussion, we will consider the use of a truck-mounted high-velocity cleaning machine, and will concentrate on the cleaning of sewers with 6 to 15-inch diameters.
Most often, a crew is made up of a crew leader and an assistant. Sometimes one operator is enough. If one person is working alone, standby people are usually nearby in case of an emergency. Fill the water tank from a fire hydrant close to the area where you will do the cleaning. A 1,000-gallon tank full of water weighs over 8,000 pounds, plus the weight of the tank and truck. Even with baffles in the tank, sharp or quick stops can tip the truck over.
When filling the tank with water, be sure to flush the hydrant to remove any debris, as Mike is doing here. When filling the water tank, you must have an air gap between the discharge line and the top of the water tank.
The machine will be equipped with a length of fire hose and an approved fire hydrant wrench. Select the appropriate nozzle for the size of pipe to be cleaned. The angle of the rear jets varies from 15 to 30 degrees. Usually the smaller the pipe, the less angle needed. Experience will teach the operator the right tool and technique. Start the auxiliary engine. Turn the reel directional control to out, and using the reel speed control, lower the hose and cleaning nozzle into the manhole.
Let me explain why it's important for the operator to leave slack as the hose travels up the line. These nozzles here clean the inside of the pipe. These here are the thrusters which pull the hose up. When you've got 600 feet of hose on the reel and you need to travel that distance, you need to eliminate any drag on the nozzle itself.
The hose guide should not obstruct this movement at the start of the operation.
When the setup is complete, the cleaning operation is ready to begin.
Turn the water valve on and start the high-pressure pump. With an increase in pump speed, sufficient water velocity will build up to propel the nozzle up the sewer.
At this point, return the directional lever to the in position to bring the hose nozzle back. Maintain the proper operating PSI and bring the hose back at a slow rate of speed.
With the reel speed control, slowly start the hose reeling in until the nozzle is just ready to come back into the manhole. The amount of material you have brought back will determine how far and how fast subsequent runs can be made. Repeat this operation until the upper manhole has been reached and no more material is brought back.
As the operator brings the nozzle back, he will have to make a determination whether to remove the debris with a single pass, or if there's enough material, it may take more than one pass to completely clean the line.
On the other hand, it may be necessary to clean out the channel after each pull if there is a lot of debris in the line.
Da-da-da-da-da, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and suck up the sewer like no other man can.
Okay, for more information on this subject, consult Operation and Maintenance of Wastewater Collection Systems, the 2 volumes that are the basis for this video series. We've come to the end of this tape, just one of 6 in this series. I think you can see why your job is the work of a pipe detective, a problem solver. Speaking of problems, Gonzo, are you there?
Yeah, I'll be right with you. No problem. Just give me a second here. Okay, help.
Now there's a problem. Gonzo and I will see you next time.